A little bit about me. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist and I became a parenting coach for parents of teenagers a few years into being a hypnotherapist. I do remember my teenage years really vividly. I was quite struggling with depression, insecurities, and a lot of anxiety. That word wasn't even known then. And I remember it being really difficult. Also, some beautiful times, of course, with friends and that freedom you feel as a teen because it's all about you. But also, I grew up in an area that was very religious. It was shaped by the after effects of the Second World War. And what shaped me the most was the religious, the Catholic thinking, because I was told all the Ten Commandments, what not to do, how my life shouldn't be, and to be a good girl, whatever that meant. Well, I was regularly told what that good girl was. It was particularly meant towards anything sexual or relationship wise. So I grew up in a time where no sex before marriage was still a goal. And while I can respect anyone's religion, for me it was a very difficult time because I didn't ever feel like my needs mattered and my wishes mattered. There was no conversation to be had. I was told how to be a good girl and what not to do. And I was never given the possibility to be something. I was never told, oh, yeah, you could be this, or how about that, or what do you really like in your life? What would you like to be? And when I became the mother of teens, that was really important to me to change that. But I always parented from a place of what kind of parents would I have loved to have? And I've tried to become that mother by giving my children the option to speak out, to have their own desires and needs, and for me to respect that. For me to have conversations with my children and try to be as little judgmental as I can, because I know otherwise they will shut off. In that sense, children don't owe you anything as a parent. They can choose whether they want to be in good health with you or not. And I see a lot of parents still parenting in the way that we were parenting, with punishment and control. And everyone has got to do what works for them. But what I see is that it doesn't really work. That all those parents who punish and punish and punish are the ones saying, it isn't working, but I don't know what to do. And I didn't want to be that mum. I wanted to be the mum that my kids could go to and say, shit, I've done something really bad. I wanted to be the mum that lets them make mistakes and doesn't pound out of a moment of fear, because when we are scared, which is total normal human nature, especially as parents, we try to control. When your child cycles down the road for the first time, what you want to do, you want to stop it, you're ready to run, you would do anything to jump to make sure they don't hurt themselves. And it continues like that when they're teenagers. If they go to a party and you have no clue who's going to be there, what's going to be there, what's going to be taken, are they going to be okay? It's hard. It's hard to let go. And for me, it was important to build that trust with my children. So when that time comes, I can let them go and kind of sleep at night. And a way to do that is something I developed gradually. It wasn't something I knew exactly how to do before. I remember having a conversation with my firstborn and saying, I don't know, you've never been a mum of a 15-year-old. You've never been a 15-year-old yourself. Shall we just try to work this out? How shall we do this? And that seemed to work. And I've always given my children also the question about, what is it you want to choose? In these conversations about parties, I could easily go and say, don't ever do anything, don't drink, don't take any drugs. And of course, I don't want my kids to do any of that. But I know the teenage brain works in a way, well, if my parents don't accept it, I just do it anyway, or they're not listening, so I won't tell them. But I want my kids, to a certain extent, to tell me things. I want them to be able to phone me when they have done mistakes, so I can go and sort them out. So I would do things like, I am not going to be there when you have to make a decision. So I want you to decide, what is it you want to put in your body? What kind of person do you want to be? What kind of friend do you want to be? that is the kind of parenting I would have loved for myself if I'd been asked those questions, that someone had trusted me and given me those questions that would open up my mind and I could create a picture of myself or who I wanted to be. And of course, that changes, as experience comes along, we change and we adjust. But I would have liked for someone to take me seriously, to trust me, to coach me through it. I really wish I'd had someone in my life who could have coached me through it. That's really what I like. And our kids might not always come to us as parents, but if you manage to keep that connection going or reconnect after they become teenagers because there's a natural break that's happening, then they will know they can pick up the phone and come to you. But for that, we need non-judgment. And that's something I've really worked hard on to not have, because out of fear, out of our ideas of how we want our kids to be, there's always quickly a judgment. But what I've come to realize is that I had to stop myself wishing for my children to become a mini version of myself. They're not here to fulfill all the dreams and wishes that I didn't achieve in my life. They're not here to live my life in a better way or more successful way. They are here to find their own path. And once I've realized that, it gives you so much freedom as a parent because, we live together, but also our lives are parallel. They do their thing, I do my thing. I don't need them for my fulfillment. I don't need their achievements for me, for my ego. They are their achievements. They are not mine. And that took me a while to realize that, but it gives me and my children an extreme freedom to be who they are, to be who they want to be. And for me also to take all that pressure away from them and from myself. Why should there be a mini version of me? There is no reason other than my ego for that to happen. So this is a bit about me, how I chose to parent, and yeah, I'm constantly talking to people. I'm constantly reading something. I'm constantly having a podcast somewhere because, like everyone else, I'm still learning. Learning every single day, and I think that's the beauty of being open as a parent to trying to understand and learn on the job. There's always more to discover, not just about our children, not just about the teenage brain, but also about ourselves.